Hi everyone, today I want to show you something about this little headphone here. This is the HiFiMan Arya Unveiled. So it is the currently latest iteration of the HiFiMan Arya series. So if you are wondering currently what are the previous versions of the HiFiMan Arya, I can actually show you. This one here is the Arya Organic that was released before the Unveiled version. And then we also have here the Arya Stealth. There's also the OG Arya that didn't have stealth magnets. So all three headphones do have stealth magnets in them, but there was also an older iteration of the HiFiMan Arya Stealth that didn't have that. I do not have my hands on that currently, so sorry about that. But they are quite looking alike. And I'm wondering how the Unveiled will perform, because currently it goes for around 1,449 bucks, while the HiFiMan Arya Organic goes for around $859, and the Arya Stealth only costs around $599. So I'm wondering how it will perform against their older siblings. All right, I would say let's get right into it. Just a little disclaimer before we directly start. HiFiMan did send the Unveiled to my channel for review purposes, but they didn't say anything what I can or cannot say, but I want to be transparent that the links you see in the description are actually affiliate links. So if you want to use them, great, you can support me, but if you don't want to, also great, but I want to be transparent with that. With this now out of the way, I would say let's get right into it and start the unboxing. So here we are with the package of the Arya Unveiled. So it's kind of the standard box that most of the HiFiMan headphones come in. So here you see 3 little stickers. One is nanometer thickness diaphragm, stealth magnets, and Unveiled this time. Here you see some specifications. So the impedance of this headphone is 27 ohms, the sensitivity is 94 dB, and the weight is 413 grams, so without the magnetic rails. And at the back side you see a little bit more of information. So here you see about the headband style and the diaphragm, as well as the ear pads. And there is an Unveiled headphone, and it has the 3.5mm sockets. So I would say let's open up the box right away. Here we go. Alright, so here are the headphones. They seem to be packaged with a cover. Here you have the cable, yes. Okay, here are also the covers apparently. Alright, so here we have the cable. It's a sleeved cable, quite standard, for 6.3mm connector. And here you have the covers. So they feel a little bit plasticky, as you can hear maybe. Alright, so this is the second cover, I guess. Yep. Alright, let's check out the headphones itself now. Alright, so here are the headphones itself. They are quite light. Let's take out the protective cover. And here they are. So they look quite similar of the shape, at least, from the previous versions of the Arya. Here you have like a glossy plastic material. This one also feels a little bit plasticky. It has nice cup rotation. It's not squeaking. The clamp force is not that strong. And here you have the ear pads that are nice and plushy, same as the other Arya iterations. Here you see the height adjustment. So that is quite nice. And here you see the fully exposed driver that you can cover with this little magnetic covers. So they just slap on there and stay there. Like that. So they seem to be quite secure as well, so they don't drop that easily. Seems to have enough force to keep them on there at least. Alright. Here you see the 3.5mm headphone jacks. So that is quite standard. And if I compare this now to the older version, the Arya Stealth for example, you can see it is quite looking alike, but this one has a lot more clamp force. But otherwise, they are looking quite alike. Just the main difference is, as you can see here, the fully exposed driver. Alright, so here we are with the HiFiMan Arya Unveiled now. So you might ask yourself now, what is the main difference between this HiFiMan Arya and this one, for example. As you may have already spotted now, you can see that it looks a little bit different here. So it has a removable cover, so you can see now directly the driver. So let's get that elephant out of the room directly. This headphone here is not really intended for a person that is very careless with their gear. So if you're somebody like that, maybe move on, because you do not have here protective grills and no dust cover. So I would never suggest putting this headphone, just throw it on your table, where maybe there's also like some paper clips or some metal screws or anything metallic or something. Be careful, because the magnets here do not have any cover, meaning if you have something small, metallic, right next to the driver, it can get sucked in and pinch through the diaphragm and destroying your headphone. Not so great, right? So be careful, please. If you decide, for example, to go for the HiFiMan Arya Unveiled, so that doesn't happen to you. I was always very careful with it, and I always suggest, if you're not using this, and also if you have pets, for example, or small kids, use the covers, cover them, okay? Good. With this now out of the way, let's talk about build quality in general. So in general, I have to say it is quite similar to the other HiFiMan Arya iterations. The only thing here that I found a little bit sad is that they used like this glossy plastic material. I personally like the one from the HiFiMan Arya better, the Organic better, because it has like a matte finish that feels a little bit better to the touch for myself than this one here. But this headphone here is very light. It just weighs 413 grams without the magnetic covers. So I could wear this headphone literally all day without feeling it really. Also because of the suspension headband that quite fits nice to my head. Another thing is that this headphone is also quite intended also for using with bigger heads maybe. Like if you have a bigger head, I don't think you will have any trouble here, because also the openings are quite big, as you can see, for your ear. I doubt you will likely touch the driver here with your ears, because the opening is that large. Also, the ear pads itself are nice and plushy. They have a pleather material on the outside, a nylon material on the inside. If you're somebody who's a little bit worried now that your hair, if you're shorter hair or curly hair, for example, might touch like the driver inside, because you can see it here. I wouldn't worry too much, because there's a little, maybe you see it, a little net here, so your hair will probably not touch anything here, so it should be fine. Otherwise, it has, like the other Arya's, nice cup rotation, so it fits very nicely on my head. I'm very happy with that. So you have nice height adjustment here, so you can easily slide this up and down without much effort. Otherwise, I have to tell you that if you're sensitive to this, maybe, is because you see the big of the cup, and if you wear this, as you can see, it goes a bit low, so my head is more on the smaller side, so I don't have the greatest feel with this headphone, but people who have a little bit bigger head might have the sensation that the headphones might press just a little bit on the jaw here. As far as I read, that is what some people have sometimes a little bit trouble with. I have to say that I didn't really encounter this, but I can imagine that's something you can maybe get used to. But also important to note here is that the clamping force of this headphone is very low. So it is lower than, for example, the HiFiMan Arya Stealth for sure, and also a bit lower than the HiFiMan Arya Organic. So this one has not really much clamping force. So if this is something that bugs you, this one doesn't have much of it. Otherwise, it has like this little covers here. They quite feel plastically as well. They have enough magnetic force, I would say, to snap on here and stay kind of firm. I wouldn't want to carry it like this, you know, like the weight on it like this, because I wouldn't be confident that it will carry that weight. So I would rather suggest you keep it up at a cup and carry it on top here. So, but otherwise it is fine, it doesn't slip around. It also has down here the normal 3.5mm headphone jacks. So these are quite standard. It comes with an included cable that is 1.8 meters long with a 6.3 meter connection. The cable itself is fine. It is, a rubberized material to it. It has a little bit memory effect to it as well, but it is quite usable, I would say. But of course, there are better cables out there, and maybe it would be worth it to use them. But since this is just standard ports, you really will not have much trouble finding something like that. I like using my hard audio cables for this headphone, for example. So no worries about that. So I found them all in all quite enjoyable to wear for a long time. If you ignore the part of having to remove the covers always if you're listening to it, because let me tell you, if you think wearing these and having like, oh nice, I have an open back headphone and now have a closed back headphone. No. It sounds absolutely not great when you have the covers on. Not recommended. So sadly, if you want a closed back headphone, it is not that. So this headphone has a 27 ohms of impedance and a sensitivity of 94 dB per milliwatt. So they are not that very hard to drive from a power point of view, but they do scale a little bit with a decent DAC amp. The HiFiMan Arya Stealth, for example, here was a little bit more picky in this regard. So this one here scaled quite well with a warmer source, so something like an air-to-air chip in it. So because this one here was quite bright and has quite a lot of attack to it, and therefore it really benefited from something with, for example, an air-to-air chip in there. The HiFiMan Arya Unveiled is not that picky in this regard. I could use it, for example, with brighter devices like, for example, my Burson Conductor GT4. That was quite not that pleasant to use with this headphone here, for example, but it was quite usable with this one. So it was quite less picky. I really enjoyed using it also with the HiFiMan Arya 400 or 500. So let's come to the sound itself. How did the Arya Unveiled actually sound to my ears? So first of all, the HiFiMan Arya series always follows kind of the trend to be more bright but very detailed headphones. So this one here follows that trend. It leans towards to be like clear and well balanced, but not as sparkly, attackly bright as the HiFiMan Arya Stealth for sure. So it has a little bit more of a well balanced tuning. So less treble emphasis than the Arya Stealth, but it feels still quite airy and sparkly. It has for the Arya lineup more of a smoother sound, so less energetic attacking than the Arya Stealth. So it is more smooth, but not as warm sounding, for example, the HiFiMan Arya Organic in comparison. It is very well balanced in its mid and sub bass. It has less bass emphasis though than the HiFiMan Arya Organic or the Stealth. It feels to have just a little bit less weight to it. So that doesn't mean that this headphone here is dull sounding or boring or something like this, or unengaging. This is really not the case. But for my personal taste, I would have wished it to have a little bit more. But this headphone here does react to EQ quite nicely. So if you want to improve that a little bit, slap a little bit of a bass shelf on there, and it worked quite good. The mid-range here also sounds quite clear, articulate, and well-placed. It does not sound shouty at any point at all, but the same as the other two, it kind of tends to put vocals slightly a little bit more back in the mix. In regards to soundstage, the Unveiled feels quite natural, quite open. It doesn't have like the widest soundstage out there, I would say. Because the Organic has a little bit of a wider soundstage, I would call it, but the difference are really small. But it never really sounded closed in or confined. It can present a convincing sense of space, I would say, where instruments are also placed nicely. So also the imaging qualities were nice. So if you want to pinpoint either in gaming or if you have different instruments playing, you can pinpoint where they are coming from. So I was quite happy in this regard as well. So the Unveiled has a great tone and timbre to my ears. If you compare this, for example, to the HiFiMan Arya Organic here, the Organic has a little bit more of a coloration to the music, while the Organic here tries to sound more transparent while also revealing a lot more on how the music was intended to be playing by the artist, most likely, because it doesn't color anything. It therefore is also a little bit less forgiving, for example, than the HiFiMan Arya Organic. So yeah, be aware of that. So in general, I can say that the Unveiled sounds to my ears quite natural, transparent, while also being a little bit bright, but it doesn't cross really the area of being too bright to my ears. Sometimes I'm a little bit sensitive to this. So the Arya Stealth, for example, was or is a little bit too bright to my ears. So I always needed to use EQ with them or a warmer source, like the HiFiMan EF500, for example. But this problem was not present on this headphone here. It really has a nice treble area. It is not too sharp. It is not too much attack to the treble to it. It is really well balanced, I have to say. So I quite like the smoother approach of the treble area, of the highs. So since this is just my own opinion, my own 2 ears and how I perceive this headphone, your opinion might very well be different. Therefore, I prepared a little bit of a sound demo where I recorded the sound coming out of this headphone with binaural microphones. So you can give it actually a listen to yourself and make a decision on your own. The only thing I ask you, please, is to wear headphones yourself if you can, because the changes here are not that big, so they become more easy to spot if you do. With this now, I would say let's get right into it and start the sound test.
Old friend, you've traveled miles, spinning in circles, your blind eyes on the dial, stripping out the colors. A man whose steps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears. A man whose memory erased. A man whose time flow of beats. You learn that all is not in vain. All that matters remains. But it's time to say goodbye until next life. A man whose steps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears. A man whose memory erased. A man whose time flow of beats.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
My mind overwhelms. I think that I'm broken, but I hope you can't help. I know I'm not perfect, but some days I feel far more worthless. Baby, you make me feel nervous. If I still have you, I have purpose. It's all worth it.
Alright, so that was the little sound demo. Let me know comments down below how you find the sound performance of the HiFiMan Arya Unveiled, if you liked it, what you think, how it compares to the other two. Yeah, in general, I have to say I do like that HiFiMan tries out new things and how to change their products to improve them. If I'm personally also a fan of removing the dust cover and the grills, that's a different story because I'm sometimes a little bit worried that I'm not careful enough, or my pets, like my cats, are not careful enough with the stuff that's lying around here. So yeah, that's maybe just me, but let me know in the comments down below how you find this approach of removing the dust cover and the grill and having your drivers exposed like that. I would be very interested to know what's your opinion on that. With this now, I guess we are quite finished with the short review. I hope you have liked it, and if you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button to support me a bit, and I hope to see you again next time. Ciao, ciao!